Hey you guys, today is super exciting. We are going to be going over Quats and what Quats is and why it's important. This is Sophia.
Hi guys.
She's going to be working with us today. She does Quats amazing and she's really great at it. So we're going to go over why it's important to make sure that your Quats is clean, what Quats is in the first place, and what it should look like in your salon or in your home. Let's talk about what Quats actually is. So Quats is the shorter name for Barbicide. So Barbicide is a blue substance like these here that is mixed with water, and it is used to pretty much clean your clips, combs, and your brushes.
Quats is mandated by state board for every cosmetologist to use in order to prevent the spread of diseases and infections, or if your tools come in contact with anyone's blood or bodily fluids, because you don't want to transfer that to the next person.
Definitely. We don't want to give anybody anything. Keeping it in the Quats for 10 minutes. So you wash your things down with soap and water, rinse it off, and you put it in your Quats for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, you'll take it out, rinse it, and then you'll set it to dry. Doing this is super important because we don't want to spread anything, and it's very, very dangerous to put your hands in it. So we have these here, these tongs. So you can use the tong to dip your things in, drop them, or pick them up and take them out. We will be going over a demonstration of how to reset this area here. I'm gonna walk onto this side. So this is how we have our setup here. So we keep our Quats on this side with towels underneath to keep our countertop safe. We have our soap here where we wash our things. We have a sink, of course, and we have our drying racks here as well. So we will be resetting everything for you guys so you can see exactly what that looks like.
Okay guys, so I'm going to walk you through what I'm doing back here. So the first thing that I always start with is I take my towels off of my drying rack, and my washing machine is right here, so I just pop those in there. It's very important that you change out your towels every time you do your Quats, because over time they can get, tiny bits of product. Sometimes you'll even find clips and stuff that have gotten pushed behind, so we just set those to the side. I am going to set my drying rack to the side while I replace the towel that goes underneath. That way you're not getting your barbicide on your counter. I also like to have some wipes. I also like to use Clorox wipes to wipe down my space underneath my towels, just to ensure that everything is as clean as possible, to keep you safe, your client safe, and if state board comes in, they're going to look at your whole area, and if they see any debris or residue, you get dinged, and you don't want to do that. So I'm just going to wipe this down before I start placing things back over here. Throw this in the trash. So I'm going to place my drying pad underneath. I'm going to grab a towel. And this guy sits underneath to catch any water that our towels might miss. So I set that guy down. Then I'm going to grab my drying rack again and place that on top. So the towels also help prevent rust on your drying rack and dry your products quicker. So I just place a towel on the bottom, kind of tuck it in, make it look, as neat as possible, but the towels are bigger than the drying rack. And then I'm going to grab another towel for the top. This one gets a little tricky just because it's a smaller area, so I kind of tuck my sides in and then give it a little fold just to kind of help it sit as nice as possible and maximize your drying rack space. So I break that over the top, press it down, and then make sure that it sits back where it needs to. Another thing that we do is we place another towel next to the drying rack right here in this blank space for when water drips, kind of help prevent your counters from getting all messed up and everything like that. So this is our little cup. It sits back here, and this sponge gets put in it. This is part of what helps us clean our gel bowls. So that just kind of rests in the back. We also have this little caddy, which has more of our soap, and this little brush that we use for our combs and our clips to make sure that everything is clean. So I'm just going to set it on the other side along with my tongs. It is very important that when you dump out your old quats that you are as careful as possible to not splash on you, get it in your eyes, get it in your mouth. So I'm going to do this very carefully. I'm just going to kind of lean it on the corner of my sink and slowly pour. So sometimes you'll notice, if you have a lot of clients, you'll get some debris in your container. So I'm going to go ahead and wash this out really quickly to make sure that my pots is as clean as possible. Very important that you get all the soap out because you do not want to weaken your barbicide. So I'm going to place this one to the side, grab my other Quats bin. We have 2 at this salon. And I'm going to do the same thing again, rest it gently on the corner of my sink and slowly pour it out. I'm going to wash this guy out again. I'm going to place my sponge back where it belongs, help keep things smooth and where it needs to be. Set that guy off to the side. Over here we have 2 towels that are stacked on top. So I'm going to toss those in my dryer and grab another Clorox wipe to wipe down this area. Again, just making sure that there's no product left over or dandruff or any, little specks of dust. Put that guy in the trash. And like I said, this area gets 2 towels stacked on top of each other. So I am going to line up my corners, have it as smooth as possible, and just kind of slide it on my counter area. So now this whole area is covered and ready for my Quats bins to go back here. I'm going to nicely kind of place my Quats bins where they sit and grab my Quats solution. We use a heavier concentrated solution, so it is 1 ounce of our solution to a gallon of water, which we have mixed in an old barbicide bottle. Again, it's very important that you try your best not to splash, get it in your eyes, get it in your mouth. There are safety precautions on every single bottle of what to do if it comes in contact with your mouth or your eyes. So it's very important that you read the label before you use this product. So I'm just going to slowly fill mine up. In our bins, they have a handle, so I kind of just fill it to right above where the handle sits. Like I said, it's 1 ounce to a gallon of water. While that's filling, I'm going to put the lid on my first Quats that is already filled up just to prevent any spills. And I'm also going to place my soap dispenser with my brushes and stuff right next to that. I'm also going to place my tongs in between my two Quats bins because it is very important that you do not just reach your hands in and grab your materials out of the Quats bin. I will show you how to clean some brushes that I have here that need to be washed currently. So at our salon we keep a towel right here on the edge. This helps us dry our hands and not trap water everywhere. So I have some round brushes in the sink, so I'm going to turn my water on to warm. We also Quats our headrests that sit in the shampoo bowls. So I'm going to get this wet in my sponge. And wash this down. I'm going to make sure that I'm rinsing all the soap off to ensure that I keep my cloth as clean as possible while it is in use for the day. I'm going to gently place my headrest in there. Then I'm going to use one of these handy dandy tools for round brushes. They can be kind of a pain in the butt to get hair out of. So we rake all the hair out. Because you do not want any hair in your Quats bin. So now that I've gotten all the hair out of that, I'm going to take my small little brush and put some soap on it, and we are just going to scrub this entire round brush. We'll rinse it off, make sure that all the soap is off of it as possible, and gently place it in my Quats bin. Again, I'm going to take my hair remover, go all around the brush, getting every hair out. And sometimes you'll kind of get little stray hairs on the top. You can just pluck those off. And I'm going to scrub it down with my scrubby brush. Then I'm going to place my lid on top because that Quats bin is full. And I'm going to very carefully open my next one and do the same process with my other brushes. Sometimes your hair remover will get full, so you can pull the hairs out and place them in the trash. And then we also have a paddle brush. It's the same process. Remove all the hair. Get some soap. And we put it upside down. That way we're not, spraying soap all over ourselves. But still making sure that we're scrubbing it really well. On the outside, we're going to rinse off our scrubby brush. And place this in our Quats bin and put the lid on. It is also important that you are quatsing this tool as well because it is used for cleaning, And you want your cleaning tools to also be clean. So I'm also going to place that in my Quats bin and let everything sit for about 10 minutes.